Alright, so I'm going to do a little playthrough. It's not going to be over extensive because the game is huge now with what these guys did in this Blitzkrieg mod. Again, this is available via the Steam store. You do a search for Blitzkrieg Mod and it should find it. I will set up a game. Let's do something a bit more hefty. Good old... oh, what should we do? We want 4v4 Hockwall Gap. I'll do a points up game, which is by this Lewis Webber guy. He does a lot of extra maps, and he packs the maps with more ammunition and fuel you can ever use. But anyway, I digress. Just for the sake of this. And you get these options here for PopCap and various things. So, I will go with a 150 PopCap, okay? Because that's a bit more than the standard game, and it's enough for me to show what's available. You get the Wehrmacht Panzer Elite, you get the Americans and the Brits. I will add in a normal computer here, and we will get into it. So, what I like to say is that if you get bored of the standard game and you play through the standard game, then you can start to explore the mods, which they basically freshen everything up, giving you new games that are very different. And Blitzkrieg Mod is out there being so different that I could almost do a very long video about it. It's not a mod I play a lot, but it is huge in terms of its scale, and what the modders have done with this thing is enormous. So these are the three doctrinal choices, and the doctrinal choices are enormous in this. So if you look here, let's just do this one at a time. You get a cruiser tank with a howitzer, you get the M10, you get the Sherman Firefly, forward observation, artillery spotter, air recon, supercharge, mortar team, priest, air burst salvo, victor target, heavy artillery, concealed deployment, fake deployment, creeping barrage, and overwatch artillery. So a huge amount of different things added to the doctrine. Let's look at the Royal Air Force. This gives you the Achilles, Sherman, radio recon, air recon, basic training, commando glider level 1, sabotage training, typhoon bomber with fragmentation bombs, weapons training, commando gliders level 2, cover training, typhoon fighter bomber with armor piercing rockets, offensive veterancy training, SAS paratroopers, defensive veterancy training, and Typhoon fighter bomber with incendiary bombs. So stack loads in that. And then the Royal Engineers, you get Sherman, Achilles, Firefly, Comet, Churchill, emplacement specialization, improved emplacements, roadblocks, so that's tank trapping, special construction, improved command vehicles, hull down, an anti-tank mine, and special combat training. So whichever tree you take, actually, again, it plays into that thing of having a new kind of game for you to mess around with. So let's look at the sappers. What are they capable of doing? So they can lay a Hawkins number 75 mine, which is new. They can do the machine gun, which is unusual because that's normally done by the infantry in the standard game. They can do a casualty base. Let's have a look at the infantry now. What can these guys do? They can build a trench. Okay, let's build a trench. And the officer gets to call in various things. So I get to call in a glider. I've not chosen a doctrinal thing yet, but let's see just the standard things that we can do. You get a flame-throwing universal wasp, Bren carrier with a flamethrower. Let's do our officer. standard Bren carrier. It's a bit expensive, 400 for that. As I say, Lewis loves to build these crazy maps that give you everything. Let me go and see what I can build here. I should do a machine gun nest here. Bofors gun and £25. Okay, so all the fun of the fair. So I will put the officer in the trench and stationary fire. These guys have a boys AT rifle. Interesting. So I've got my standard infantry squad here, so what can they put together? So they don't get the machine gun, they pretty much get pared down to being just an infantry squad. So the gunfire from the infantry is very accurate to a much greater range than is normal. The game is very punishing in direct contact, so you'll see these guys really get hammered here. If you are facing a gunfight, and this applies to tanks as well and AT guns, unless you're in an advantageous position, it is very punishing in terms of gameplay. So now I've got the second truck out, it's given me the upgrade in units. Do these guys get any abilities? No, what is this? Special ability. So they get to fire a Mark II hand grenade and a smoke grenade. So a few extra abilities. Do we get? So we also get a Stuart M5 here and an ordnance mortar. Okay, let's bring that bad boy out and that bad boy. We'll have a look at all the units. This is the Wasp. Let's have a look close in at that. So, I think this is a D-Day special, the Wasp. It's obviously got the gas tanks in the back and the flamethrower here at the front, so we've got that going on. And put another mortar thing here to guard the bridge. I'm playing a little bit defensive because I just want to kind of show what we've got going on here. What can we have from the glider? So we get a 6-pounder gun, sappers, infantry, machine gun, and another ordnance mortar. So from this truck, what do we get? I'll bring out this guy, captain, and we get an anti-tank squad, which are Piat carrying troops. This is only activated if I choose certain things in the tree. I also get an ambulance, a kangaroo, a Daimler, a light Stuart tank, and M3. So, interesting things. So, once I've got this captain out, I can have a look and see what other things are available on this. So, Royal Engineer Sappers, what can they do? Special trained engineers, they excel at constructing. Received combat training, specialised in glider. stuff. Interesting. Nice. So my captain gives us recon, maintain command range, sprint, an artillery bash, and a HQ glider again. So let's see. Does that glider give us anything different from this one? So no, same thing, just a little bit of variety there. Let's get our next truck out. So this is, I think, is the final truck. We'll have a look at what that can produce in a moment. Ooh, a lot of Germans coming. I don't know what the Germans are throwing at me there, but it's particularly nasty. Right, so, wow, okay. As I say, the game is brutal in terms of what you get hit by. So, in this we get our Cromwell command tank, we get a cruiser tank, we get another cruiser tank, we get the Achilles, and we get the Sherman Firefly, assuming all things being equal. So yes, the ranges of things is vastly more than the standard game. And that includes like mortar strikes and things like this, so it's really a brutal contest. So this glider can bring in a Tetrarch, the Bren carriers, Commando Jeeps, 6-pounder, or the Mark IV 75-pounder. So you get additional options there. But already you can see the amount of work that the modders put in on this enormous mod. My only critique that I would say is that the lethality and range is it's more realistic, that's for sure, but it also makes the game really tough to play, because it's off the map that you're being hit by stuff. You don't even really see where you're being clobbered. Not that that is a huge issue, because in the standard game, an example is the Bofors gun can barely shoot beyond its own stupid shadow, and it's an AA gun, which makes no sense. So in some ways it's good to have much longer range and effective stuff going on. That should be, in some ways, what it should be like. If I advance with my troops here, let's just see how long they last in a bit of a scrap, because it will not be long. I'm already suppressed here. I haven't even got to the edge of the bridge yet. So I've gained a tank destroyer. There's the M10 tank destroyer has been added in. So your SAS get the additional special abilities of demolition there. With these AT guns, these vehicles will basically, these enemy vehicles just won't have a chance of getting across this bridge. There's just no chance whatsoever to do that. So I also get the 17 pounder coming out now, at some point. So now we've advanced that, we get a few more options on the different squads that we can have. Okay. He didn't last long. I will just show the airborne strike with the armor-piercing rockets. Anyway, this could go on for many hours, but in essence, I give this mod an 8 out of 10, and you should definitely go and get it. You should definitely have it in the collection, and then when you want a really stiff contest with a lot of options, this is the one you can pull out of the bag. And the modders on this, they did a sensational job, in my opinion. Really, to be honest. The only thing is, My only criticism is the range of stuff is a little long, whereas in the standard game the range is a little short. But it's all good. An outstanding job by the modders.